Shalom from the land of Israel. It's Liette here, and today we are standing amongst some beautiful olive trees here in Beit Guvrin National Park. Olive trees are talked about in the New Testament as Paul speaks to Gentile believers who are new to the faith, and he tells them that they have been grafted into the olive tree of faith. They have been grafted into the commonwealth of Israel. And we see this now today, that all over the world there are so many believers that have come to know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the Messiah, Yeshua, and they have become grafted in. But Paul also gives us a warning with this message, and he tells them, do not be ignorant of this mystery, lest you become conceited. For you do not support the root, but the root supports you. Yeshua did not come to start a new religion called Christianity. In fact, his name, Yeshua, means salvation in Hebrew. He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This was his purpose. And also, through his sacrifice on the cross, he opened the way so that anyone from any tribe, from any nation, from any tongue, could come and serve the God of Israel, could become grafted in and join the family. But what does that look like in today's world? Because there has been a huge divide between the Christian church and Israel today, and that's part of our hearts, and what we're passionate about is bridging that gap. As God's people and as followers of Yeshua, we are called to walk in one law, one way, both Jew and Gentile. And we are really passionate about teaching others about this, how to walk it out day-to-day life. You know, the appointed times of the Lord are actually called God's appointed times. These are not Jewish holidays. These are for any person who decides to follow God and decides to be a child of God. And so as a child of God, this is your right and this is your heritage to keep the Torah, to keep God's appointed times, because they are not burdensome. As God says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. These are a blessing. These enrich our lives, enrich our faith, carry so much spiritual power and significance for our walk in Yeshua and our walk in faith. So why has God commanded us to be connected to the roots of our faith, to keep the Torah, to learn more about His ways, to walk in the ways of the God of Jacob? It's not just so that we fill our heads with knowledge, so that we know a bunch of theology and can answer all the questions on the Messianic Bible quiz. But it is so that we can go because we are appointed to bear much fruit. Just like this olive tree behind me, we are called and appointed to bear fruit for God's kingdom. We are sent as lights into this world that is dark, that is lost, that is broken, that desperately needs to hear the good news of Yeshua and the good news of salvation. So we need to go as the salt of the earth, as the light of the world, to shine our lights and to share the love of Yeshua with this world, so that more and more can be added into the family of Israel, that can join the commonwealth of Israel and join the family of faith through Yeshua, the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach. Our new resource is available, Why Care About Israel, explaining all about God's heart for Israel and the Jewish people, and more about this message, how we are grafted into the commonwealth of Israel, how to walk that out, also some funny stories about growing up, life in Israel, the different things that we face as Messianics living here in the land. And so make sure you grab your copy. So thank you so much for your prayers and your support of our ministry. You are helping us send out these messages to encourage the younger generation in our faith in Yeshua, so we can send out the word of the Lord and the Torah from Zion. So we just want to say shalom from Israel until next time.